Hi guys, it's Ugol Lamatams, also known as Gelawapa Z, girl from Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you will be notified that Gelawapa Z post a video. So we are about to start a live stream with Pilato. You know the deal, share this stream, and I need at least 100 of you, and then we can share this stream everywhere. So basically, I've connected this stream even to Facebook so that we can have as many people watching. And it's the first time I'm connecting via Facebook. So share the stream, and if you have any questions, ask questions. So, who is Pilato? Pilato is a Zambian musician and activist that has been in the forefront talking about the issues in Zambia. He's one of the most respected youths in Zambia that I really, really salute. I mean, he's been to different places just speaking about the things that he doesn't agree with in Zambia. So let's continue sharing the stream, and I will bring him on in a few minutes. We changed the time to 6 o'clock Zambian time to accommodate as many people. We're 53 of us. Share the stream, share the stream, share the stream. So tell us where you're watching us from. So Susan says she's watching from Atlanta, Georgia. Motale, how are you? Chinda, good to see you. And for those of you on Facebook, I'm sure I can't see when you comment because we are on Facebook. Random says, Lily, how many times have you bathed today? Pantu, you are looking fresh. Thank you so much. Just once. Thank you so much. So we are 58. Let's carry on sharing until we reach 100. We've only just started. Hi, Tisa. Good to see you. So if you've never come across Pilato's music is on YouTube, and he's amazingly talented. His kind of music is one that speaks about what's going on using different things. He can sing about a mouse, but he's talking about a leader. You know, he's so gifted. So I thought this is the right platform to bring him so that you could just hear him speak for yourselves. Enoch says, I'm watching from Zambia. Thank you. We're a few more people and then we reach 100. Then we start this live stream. Thank you so much. So don't forget to share as well on your community tabs. It's an honor that I've had so many great people from Zambia, you know, coming on this platform and just sharing their views with what's happening. Brian says he's watching from Ndola. Beth is watching from Sheffield. Auntie Joyce, amazing supporter. She's watching from Italy. Vasit says, Lily, I'm behind you from Botswana. Thank you so much. KJ Zara, amazing supporter, says, hello, Gelo Opposite, as usual from Lusaka. Yes, we will have B-Flow as well. I'm still waiting for him to be in contact. So Pilato is here now. Since
Laka girl.
Vakopala.
Laka.
Laka. Uksamona na pa YouTube. Like we come to Zambia tamtumona and then we now twice mona na pa YouTube number.
Kaili muna dura imwe.
We are so honored to have you on this platform. I know you're such a busy person.
I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And you're such an inspiration. You are bold. Some of the things that you've gone through, it only takes a man of stance like you to go through them. So before we start, I just wanted you to just introduce yourself, say who you are, because I have audience from all over the world that will watch you and they'll be wondering, who's Pilato? So I've talked about you in my videos, so they've heard of Pilato and they've seen your picture, but now you're on this platform. So just introduce yourself.
Yes, ndemona kabona nangushana. Ngisathika makeup.
Yes, you look.
Oh, okay. So my name is Pilato, and I'm a human being. I think the rest is superficial. I think the best thing is I'm a human being, and I love and I care.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So, Pilato, the first time you came out with your music, like your videos and the images that leaked before, I was like, what's going on? The hair, your outfit.
Yes.
I was wondering what was going on. What made you decide to dress like that when you first started your music?
So first of all, for me, music is not a very music is a very powerful tool. Like for me,
Mhm.
music is a weapon. Music is a platform. So the first time I decided I was going to do music,
Mhm.
I knew what my music was going to be about. So
Mhm.
the image of Pilato from the onset was to make a representation of who I was, and there's so many people that are in that position. So there are people that have been sidelined. We are living in a very unequal society where a lot of young people have been sidelined because they can't afford beautiful and nice smelling perfume. They don't have haircuts like other people. They can't afford nice shoes. They can't afford even shoes and all that. So for me, from the onset, I knew what my music was going to be about, and that image of Pilato was speaking specifically to that concern. And I've always tried to bring into conversation people that are marginalized, and especially those that are in a situation and in a position that I was in, to bring them into the conversation because they are human beings. They are us. We are them. So for me, that's the image, and yeah.
No, okay. Now it makes sense. Because I knew you could obviously afford to dress smart like the way you are dressed, but
Am I?
in your
Am I just smart? You Kuncha Fanishi.
this is different from what I've always seen you like, on your pictures and videos. But it's good to see the different side of Pilato as well. Um, you know what's been going on, obviously, with the Chinese in Zambia, and obviously, not just the Chinese, other foreign nationals. But the reason why we've picked on China is because of what has happened to Mao Sampa, who was um, asked to apologize for helping Zambians. What's your say about the whole scenario? How Mao Sampa was going to these Chinese businesses and helping Zambians? What would you say about that?
So for me, I'm a believer in proper diagnosis of a problem. So if you want to find a solution to a problem, you need to employ an effective diagnosis. So if you understand the problem, if you can see the problem, then you put yourself in a position to adequately find a solution that is effective, that is specific. Uh, Coming to the problem that His Worship the Mayor Mao Sampa was trying to address, I do agree with him that we have a racism problem. We have a class problem. We do have abuse of workers in different workspaces. And to be specific with the question where it involves the Chinese nationals, it's first of all, I think that problem is big. But if we are going to find a solution to that problem, the problem of racism in Zambia, the problem of abusing of workers in these establishments,
Yeah.
the best approach is not and must not be limited to the presence of an individual.
Yeah, okay.
Because Mao Sampa is just one individual and he can only be in Lusaka. So what about the other Zambians that are not in Lusaka and are in Ndola, some are in Chinsali and in those places? How do they get support? How do they get help? I agree with what Mao Sampa is doing. What I disagree with is the approach. Because if we're going to find a solution to a problem, it must be a structured problem. It has to be an effective approach. It has to be an effective solution. We must ask ourselves, why is it that we have racism in Lusaka, where the president lives, where the minister of Home Affairs lives, where the minister of, all these ministers, they live in Lusaka.
One place.
So one would be so careful in the way they conduct themselves because they know that even the police headquarters is in Lusaka. So if this abuse of citizens can happen in Lusaka, if this racism can happen in Lusaka, do you have an idea what could be happening in Shangombo? Because we have investors there. Do you have an idea what could be happening in Nakonde? Do you have an idea where there is only one minister or the minister doesn't even live there? He only goes there to see his ex-girlfriend and all that. So can you imagine what could be happening in those spaces? My thinking is that in dealing with this problem, we must get back to the foundation. What is it that we've done or that we've failed to do that is allowing these foreign investors to abuse our people? What is it that we've done or failed to do that is allowing racism in certain places? What is it that we've done that is allowing these bosses to abuse their people? Where is the weakness? Instead of just looking at the Chinese people or just whichever nationality, let's look at this problem beyond nationality. Let's look at it beyond races. Let's look at it beyond any other nationality or any other subject thing. Let's look at it as a problem that we must find a solution to it. My problem with the Mao Sampa approach was that it was so limited to him. So people needed to have his number, people needed to call him, and he needed to be available, and he needed to find time to go and rescue them.
Yeah.
But he's part of a government. A government cannot work like that. A government is a system. A government is a system. A system has to operate even in the absence of the individual, even in the absence of a person. The government must operate. So for me, that's what I think should have been done. Then again, the stupidity of asking him to apologize, it also amplifies. It also amplifies how rubbish this government is. It's it doesn't make sense. So what is he apologizing for? What is he apologizing for? Is he apologizing because he went to rescue people? Is he apologizing because he suspended licenses? What exactly is he apologizing for? So if Mao Sampa was today going to act, what is he not supposed to do? What are we asking him that, okay, don't do this because if you do this, you apologize. So when he apologizes, what part of his work is he apologizing for doing?
Apparently for calling the Chinese man China man.
If he was apologizing for that, then I would support the apology because it's like if they consider it offensive, then we must sit down and say this is offensive to the people from China, so let's not go there.
But Pilato, if somebody calls you Zambia man, or somebody calls me Zambia woman, or African man, is it offensive?
No. So Lily, you and me cannot determine what should be offensive for the other people. You and I know that some people are called the N-word. Some people are cool with that. I don't like that. No one is going to call me the N-word. But
Yeah.
if somebody, yeah, so, and it would be very unfair for somebody from another race to justify why I should be called the N word. If the people from China feel that term is insulting, we must allow them the dignity to decide what they should be called. So if they say that's wrong, then his apology was in order. But then Mr. Malsapa should continue doing what he's doing if he feels that should be done. But I say again, it also exposes the vacuum that exists in leadership. Because if the mayor is the only one that's standing up for workers, then where the hell is the Minister of Labor? Why is she enjoying free money? Yeah, why
The
is
Minister of
she?
Labor. I don't even know what to say about
I don't even
her.
know if we have a Minister of Labor. Where is she? If
Yeah.
Mao Sampa is the one who's supposed to be physically goes to suspend these licenses,
Yeah.
then that minister, that Dao minister, that one Banda, that Banda guy, he should be embarrassed. Like how does
I'm not the
he?
only one who's calling him Dow. At least you've also called him Dow. Thank you.
Because he is. So why Mao Sampa is filling in a vacuum that has been left
Yeah.
unoccupied by these people that receive money every single month. So what necessitates Mao Sampa's involvement in all this is the fact that these people are not doing their jobs, and he feels that somebody has to step in and do the job. So for me, it's uh, yeah, it's depressing. It's very depressing.
It is very depressing, and lots of videos have leaked on the internet that Zambia is a Chinese colony. I never believed in those videos before till people started sending me how they're living in on the copper belt, how they're being kept by the Chinese workers, Chinese business owners, because they are workers. I was in shock. I literally cried in one of my videos. What would you say about Zambia and China, the relationship? What would you say?
So this is an issue I've invested time to understand. And it's very depressing. I'll tell you, I went into one government official's office, and I found the Zambian flag and the Chinese flag
Yeah.
at par, and they were on his desk. I asked him, "What the hell is that flag doing there?" He said, "No, I went to China. I was trained by the Chinese, so this is me just being grateful." I says, if you went to UK today and you were trained by the British government, where are you going to place the British flag? If you went tomorrow, you went to the America, and then you come back, where were you going to place the American flag? So if you go to 50 countries, are you going to place each flag on that table? The problem is, I don't know if it's stupidity. I don't know if it's downness. I don't know. I don't understand it. So there's what they call soft power. So the Chinese will not come with the guns and tell us to be their slaves and all that. Because they give us loans, they've given us so much money in debt. The power of money is that it compromises uh, one's I don't know what I would call it. But what I'm trying to say is, so because the Chinese have given so much money to the Zambian government,
Yeah.
uh, and I'm sure you've heard of a saying that money is power. So when you get so much money, you can't argue. You surrender completely. That's a situation that we find ourselves in. As you drive through Zambia, you see billboards in Chinese. You see Chinese and all that, which
Can
is
you
fine.
imagine?
Which is fine if it has an explanation that fits in the constitution. We use English, which is not our language, but it is in the constitution that English should be the official language. My problem with all that is that whilst we've got 73 tribes, I don't know if it's languages, but there are many of them.
Yes.
We cannot pick one or two languages that we can call national language and then pronounce them on our billboards, pronounce them on our whatever rubbish that we put. But then we find it necessary that this
Yeah.
language from way from Ugo, like so you bring it and then impose it on people.
Yeah.
So we are compromising on our sovereignty as a country.
Yeah, definitely.
And also that we are insulting our own culture. We're insulting our freedom fighters. We are insulting our own identity. I don't know where the president and his government finds the justification for this. For me, I'm just as conscious as I'm at the basic level, you know. But I
Yes,
ask
yeah.
myself all these things. If I grow up now and I leave my kids tomorrow, will they remember what we were 20 years ago? Is our history, is our culture guarded? If we can surrender everything now to this giant that has got so much money, if we surrender everything because we want money for campaigns, because we want money for elections, because we want money, we want to steal money from Mukula, because we want to steal money for God, what else? What is it that we are protecting, preserving for ourselves? For me, that's what bothers me. And the Chinese domination in Zambia is so arrogant that we can't hide from it. You ready to talk? Okay. So like it's so arrogant that it cannot be ignored.
I'm here. A pond.
Okay, nakubona, nikubona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I feel. That's my contribution. Tawaliyomfika na ushimia microphone hiyo.
Okay. So some questions, obviously, from people. Some people have just commented that they are not happy with the signboards and the sign languages. For me, Pilato, the issue of the Zambian language. I think there was a time when the newspaper was issued, and there was it was published, and there was Chinese language written in the whole newspaper. That particular newspaper.
It was just an article that was in Chinese.
An article, yeah, an article in the newspaper. And I remember talking about it, like, vaguely, because I wasn't really bothered about what's going on and politics and everything. And then I also saw signs, billboards. And then I remember asking on Facebook, I was like, why don't we make Swahili an African language, or like where everybody knows and they understand each other? And somebody said, no, we need to learn Chinese. I was like, why? But then I didn't know the gravity of how the Chinese people are into African countries.
So Lily, you must avoid saying the Chinese people, because this, like for me, I'm very particular, because Chinese people are very innocent. The Chinese people here are very innocent. The Chinese people everywhere are innocent. This is a political game. So the Chinese government is protecting its own interest and the interest of its people. Our government is not protecting the interest of our people, of their people, or the interest of the country. Our government is in protecting the interests of the pockets of the president, the ministers, and and everybody that falls under their rank. And that's where the big problem is. If we start pointing at individual Chinese, if we start pointing fingers at the individual Chinese people, we will end up being racist. Imwe ushenishirishani out boy. Iwe lili hapo talk time. Yep. So out boy mukashana.
I'm here. Na chirai sala fe door. I was closing the door.
Iwe kulanda. So namona kwa tuwaruba.
How is fine.
So what I'm saying is, as young people, we must guard ourselves against tribalistic approach in things.
Yeah.
So if the problem is not the individual Chinese people, so let's not create or harbor any grudge or bitterness or hatred against the Chinese people. So these Chinese people are just like us.
Yeah.
The only difference is their government has prioritized their interests, while our government has prioritized their political interests. They want to make money more. They want to organize money for politics and all that. So let's not in any way try to be racist or target at individual Chinese people, because as I'm talking to you right now, I have a number of friends and relatives and who are in China for school.
Yeah.
I have friends like you that are in UK. I have friends that are in the US. This is the world. This is the world that we find ourselves in. We are a global community. So in trying to address a problem like racism, in trying to address a problem like abuse of labor and all that, we must be very careful lest we become the evil that we are trying to challenge. Yes. So, in trying to fight racism here, let's not become racist ourselves. The Chinese problem here is not caused by the individuals, the Chinese individuals in Zambia. No. The Chinese individuals in Zambia are not the problem. The problem is what is our government giving back when they go to beg to China? What is it that they are saying? What is it that they are offering when China offers them money? We were told that China has given Zambia hundreds of millions of dollars. We were not told what Zambia offered.
Is offering, yeah.
So they tell us that. So I'm talking to you right now. We were offered a 30 million grant to build the Mlungushi Conference Center. We've not told what Zambia has offered China. So how do we know if what we are experiencing now was what they offered us? Maybe they offered us as their slaves. Maybe they offered us. So how do we? So the problem is not the people here. The problem is those people that go and negotiate on our behalf. What is it that they are giving back when they are given these money? That's where the problem is. And I would like to caution the young people in Zambia and whoever is listening to me. We must be very careful when we are dealing with these issues, because we Zambians are not isolated. We are connected to the Chinese people. We are connected to the Americans. We are connected to with the rest of the world. But how we deal with issues like this will determine how we will be dealt with in other places. Let us address this issue of racism, of abuse and corruption, and not from an emotional point of view, but from an intellectual point of view. All these are designed, so we must engage intelligently, so then we get to find a solution that works here in Zambia and can work elsewhere.
You see, when we talk about China, we've spoken on my channel and other platforms. We've talking about China, this. And our conclusion has been that our leaders are the ones who've entered into agreements that have bound our African countries to a certain extent that we don't even know what type of agreements. Recently, we had the Tanzanian President Magufuli exposing the fact that his predecessor had signed a deal of over $10 billion with the Chinese, and he he cancelled the loan on his own merits because of what's going on with COVID-19. And then we see what's happening in Zambia. Of course, we can't be against the Chinese, because if somebody comes to my country, I have to give them the rules and the regulations as to how they should run the business, how they can treat Zambian people. First of all, Pilato, do we have a national minimum wage in Zambia? And secondly, when these Chinese people open businesses, or foreign nationals, is there like rules in terms of how they can treat Zambians? Or are they allowed to do just whatever they want to do? This is where we are focused on. What agreements are they? Because we don't even have ideas of what they've agreed. So what would you say about that?
So yes, we do have a minimum wage, which is optional for for these employers.
It's optional. Why should it be optional?
Because like there's no enforcement system. That's when I so the when there's a breakdown in the system in how statecraft or the government works, is like every sector is affected, you know.
Yeah.
So there is a minimum wage which was signed and declared. But if you have a minister of labor who doesn't have any ambition, she doesn't have ambition, she doesn't have dreams, she's already in her sunset age. Like, if you ask her what she wants to be in 20 years from now, she can't even imagine 20 years from now, because she's thinking maybe I'll be dead. Oh, the biggest dream that she may have is maybe kufamu, like, you know, that kind of thing. So it's difficult when you have leadership that is in their sunset moment, where like they have like there's no ambition, there's no dream for them, you know. It is very difficult. So we have the minimum wage, but there's no monitoring as to who is paying one, who is paying what. And that happens, and that's what these people take advantage of. And think about this. Mao Sampa, the mayor, goes and stands and speaks for his people, and the minister stands up and challenges and embarrasses him, and they force the entire government forces him to apologize. Can you imagine if it was a miner, a Shmaini, somebody working in the mine, who reported that to the minister of local government, that Banda guy? Can you imagine what would have happened to that guy? Can a normal, an ordinary citizen go and report an abusive boss to that minister of local government?
No.
He can't.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So we have all these ideas. Even the mayor himself was quoting the law when he was doing all these things. He was quoting the constitution. So it's not even about the law. It's about who is involved. It's about who and where and how much is as this one has and the other person. So it's basically about that. And
what would you say? I know somebody who's been involved. They don't want to be mentioned, but their business deal that they wanted to sign in Zambia was rather given to a Chinese business, and because of that, they lost the contract. And according to them, this is a real story. I've seen everything, but she's waiting for the right time to say it out. The government officials, some government officials who made sure that agreement went through, were paid a bribe of $350,000. So what would you say about, foreign nationals bribing our government ministers? Does it happen, or is it just speculations? What would you say about bribery?
So, like I said again, I'm gonna be very general. Because the situation is as it is. It denies me the right to say the Chinese investor, because it's not the Chinese investor that is bribing these ministers. All the investors I can safely
No.
say most of them are bribing these ministers. These deals are entered in through bribe. Like this is not common. This is not uncommon.
Okay.
So if we are to deal and address this problem of corruption and bribing and chan and co, like again, I wouldn't want to attach it to the Chinese because we will not be solving the problem if we attach it. So
No,
next
we
time,
won't.
yeah. So next time it's not going to be the Chinese investor. It's going to be a Russian investor. It's going to be an Indian investor. It's going to be, yeah. So in addressing this problem, we must allow ourselves to see a bigger picture. The problem we have is that our politicians are so affordable, like so affordable that anyone can buy them. Anyone can buy them. They are so cheap, like it's super cheap. They don't even know what they give in return. They're so cheap
Yeah.
that if I walked with $1 million kwacha and talked to the minister and say, I want this part of Lusaka to be in my name, that 1 million kwacha is even a lot of money. Just maybe 500,000 kwacha. It will be done. We've had deals like we've had deals that are so stupid, and you're thinking, really? They did this? So I'll give an example. So where they go cut the mukula trees,
Yes. Yeah.
undervalue them, and then export. So the country suffers, loses revenue. The country loses. Somebody's trying to hack my computer. So somebody's okay. So the country loses so much revenue, but
Yes.
these individuals decides that I can get even 1% of what should have gotten to the country into the country's coffers. He gets even less than 1% of that in his pocket, and he feels he's better. So they are
Yeah.
so affordable. They're so cheap that it's the general public that suffers. So the issue of bribes, like it's very big in that we are the people that suffers. If you go to UTH today in Lusaka, UTH is just about maybe 3 or 4 kilometers to State House. Go to UTH today, you see how our people sleep on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Our mothers giving birth on the floor. But that's closer to State House. That's where closer to State House, closer to Cabinet House, closer to all these key elements of government are close. But if that is happening here and people are still stealing public money, if people are still compromising government systems and take advantage of that, can you imagine what is happening in Chadiza where no one will even care to see where the hospital is? Can you imagine what would be happening in Kasempa where you have to fly and trying to get to there? That's what I'm saying. So this issue of corruption, bribery, and all that is so big that if we are to find a solution to that, we must be able to see beyond the nationalities of the people involved, but address that problem as a problem. That friend of yours who complained of Chan, it is very true. My sister, it is true. If you want to get a deal with from a government institution, doesn't matter where, how, somebody's going to ask you to cough out a lot of money. And I'm sorry it happens to you. And if you are Zambian, it is your responsibility. It is my responsibility to stand up and create a society where young people can live with their dreams, can pursue their dreams, regardless of their names, regardless of their tribes, regardless of where, as long as you are Zambian, Zambia should be your starting point. Zambia should be your best. Zambia should be your home. Zambia, this is where our dreams must exist and come to life. And if we do not do it, nobody's going to do it for us. If we do not stand up now, if we do not fight for Zambia now, nobody's going to do it for us. And every young person must assume this responsibility of fighting for a better Zambia, because this better Zambia can only be created, can only be formed, can only be fought for by the young people who are the citizens of today and will be alive tomorrow. These madaras that we see in government, they will be dying very soon. Some of them will be dying the sugar, some of them bagafe COVID-19. But it is the young people that are alive today that must preserve the beauty, the culture, and the integrity of this country. How are we going to do that? By standing up now and saying, okay, and then we create a future where all of us now can come together and say, we are one Zambia, one nation, proud and free. We stand under the flag.
And Pilato, thank you so much for pointing out that the young people should be involved. I've tried my best, even on Facebook, to try and encourage our young people. We also have a group of Zambian YouTubers, and many times when I ask them, why don't you speak about this? They say, oh, urefa abatukake. And I'm like, this is your right. Talk about these things. So what would you say about freedom of speech? Philip Mumba has mentioned that. He's talked about how most people are cowards. They're scared to speak out because of these issues. What would you say about the freedom of speech in Zambia?
So before we talk about freedom of speech, those people that feel they deserve the right to speak must fight for the environment where they can speak.
Yeah.
There is no way you're going to let your bully allow you to speak. You cannot trust the bully to create an environment for you to speak. If you believe that you deserve to speak and you deserve to be heard, it is your responsibility to say, because the ability to speak, the ability to think was not given to you by an individual. It was given to you by God. So how do you disrespect God? By fearing to express that which he gave you because you are scared of going to prison. Who is in prison? The conditions in prison, the things that we are scared to find in prison will come to where we are if we fail to prevent them from coming, if we fail from happening where we are. I'll give you an example. Why somebody who is saying they don't have freedom of speech, what then are they going to lose if they go to prison? Because they're already saying they don't have the freedom. If you go to prison, every time I go to prison, I say anything and everything, and no one says they will arrest you because I'm arrested already.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, why should I be scared to lose what I don't have? Why should I be scared to lose what I don't have? If I had freedom and somebody says you lose your freedom, I'll be like, oh, I'll lose my freedom. But if I'm scared to speak now, and they tell me that if you speak, you go to prison, I would rather go to prison because I won't be able to speak. So there are two things here. There are two prisons. I would rather go to court and justify my freedom rather than go to the courts of my consciousness and justify my fear. I can't sleep. I can't sleep if my conscience is not well. I can't sleep if I can't find peace in my mind. For me, I would rather go to court today or tomorrow and say, I spoke because I deserve to speak and I deserve to be heard. Rather than rather than going in the courts of my consciousness and said, I couldn't speak because maybe they would have arrested me, or maybe I would rather lose what I have than lose what I don't have. So the young people that are scared to go to prison, to go to jail, continue being scared to go to prison until you find yourself living in the conditions that are in prison. The conditions in prison are that, one, you in the same room, there's toilet there, you can't flush, maybe because somebody will have to go fetch water from elsewhere. Even if you go to Mrs., you go to Chipurukusu, you go to these other compounds, you realize that there are people that live in similar conditions. They are not in prison. They live in similar conditions. If you go to prison, you find that the only food that you eat is beans, shima, chan. There are people that are not in prison today and cannot even afford beans and shima. So if you too scared to preserve the good that we have out here, the bad that is there will come to where we are, and all of us will find ourselves in the same conditions that our friends are in.
That's true. What would you say about your experiences with, freedom of speech in Zambia, to the extent that you've been to prison, and I read something about you on The Guardian. You are one of the most respected people that I've seen, like on the mainstream media. They've talked about you on The Guardian. I think there's an article where they say that you even went to South Africa in self-exile. What would you say about your freedom of speech? Did it put you in problems?
It did, and it will obviously do again. I like to think that I'm still in prison, and every day I try to escape. And every young person must know the difference between an illusion of freedom and the actual freedom. Mahatma Gandhi said, if you want to know your freedom, try to move. You only realize that you are in chains when you try to move. So every young person must know the illusion. Sometimes you're thinking, I'm free, because you've never dared to live fully,
Yeah.
So for me,
And then,
it's just as basic as that. I'm still in prison. I'm still in prison, and I try to escape. And once I escape, I'll tell you how bad it has been in the prison.
What would you say as well about cadres? I don't understand where the cadreism came from and how it started. I think why most people are also scared of speaking out is because cadres will send them messages. They'll tell them off. Somebody yesterday told me on Facebook that he's been talking about the things that are happening in Chilawombwe, and cadres have been threatening him. What would you say about cadres? Do they have more powers than the police? And what type of powers do they have, to the extent that people are scared to even say, I'm not happy with what is happening in government at present because of a cadre? What would you say about cadres?
So I'll give you a two-layered answer. So cadreism in Zambia has become a very lucrative business. And this started with the elections. So the government engages these uneducated young people. They get them from the markets, they get them from the stations, they get them. So not the government, the Patriotic Front government party. Get these people and engages them to say, let's work together, let's get in power. When we've won elections, we are going to reward you. You'll be better, So when this party gets in power, they have the power, they have the money, they have everything. Those that helped them and they had businesses, they've given them tenders, they've given them businesses. Those that helped them who had qualifications, they've given them jobs. Those that could do businesses, they've given them businesses. But what about those young people that didn't have education? Some of them who were just street kids, grew up on the streets, and they started working in stations. What type of jobs can you give them?
Lusaka minister.
You can't. But they can only be one Lusaka minister at a time. They can only be. Yeah, but you can't have so many of them. So the cadre movement has become an industry where all these young people that did not go to school, all these people that cannot do business are not. You throw them in there and tell them to say survive, So they have to go. They have to harass people at the stations. They have to harass people at the markets. They have to do anything that they can to make money. So these are young people that are being employed themselves, but they've given them that platform to do that. Secondly, I'm not scared of cadres. And when I say that, I don't mean that they can't beat me. They can beat me. They can kill me. They can whoop my ass off. Like, they can do whatever they want. They can beat me nicely. But I'm not scared of them. The reason I'm not scared of them is because I have two things to lose. It's either I lose my country or I lose my life. If I lose my country, then where will my kids live?
Yeah.
Where will my people go? If I lose my life and defend the country, I'll be so sure that my kids will still have a time to go to school tomorrow. My kids will go, no one will harass them for being who they are. It's for me, it's a contest between these two fears. It's either I lose my life, they beat me to death today, or they rob my country, they kill my country. Which one is better to lose? I would rather they do that to me and I have a country where my kids can live in and grow and they pursue whatever they want to pursue, rather than I preserve my life and lose the country. And then tomorrow, when my kids have grown, they can't go to school because their teachers have not been paid. They can't go to the university because the universities were closed because the government has not funded it, or they can't go to the market because their tribe is something else, so they can be allowed, or because they belong to a different political party because they'll be beaten, or they can't go to school, or because the government had borrowed so much money, so the schools cannot be things like that, you know. So for me, it's a contest between those two fears, and I choose to stand up and say I would rather pay the price now so that my kids don't have to do this thing when I'm
And
alone.
you remind me of Michael Chilufya Sata. I have a speech where he
Mm,
said, that's the reason why he went to prison, because he was fighting for his country. And the
mm.
level of cowardness we have among the youth in Zambia is shocking, because a cadre will come and attack you. So I love your boldness. I myself even complained about how even some celebrities are not even talking about these things. Well, a couple have said what's going on, they've complained. But the issue of our musicians being involved, you are a musician, in songwriting for these political parties, singing, and then now we are enjoying Dununa Reverse at the moment. The economy is tough. What would you say about that? Should musicians be involved during political campaigns or not?
So my thinking is, yes, musicians should be involved. Everyone should be involved.
Yeah.
Reason is simple. The responsibilities that I have as a music artist are the same responsibilities that a teacher has, same responsibilities that a doctor has, same responsibilities that a mechanic has, same responsibility of every citizen in the country.
Yeah.
So why, instead of placing this huge responsibility on the artist,
Yeah.
we place this responsibility on every citizen, because Zambia is for everybody else. The artists performing and making music for these political parties, it comes with its own reasons, but it would be unfair for me, an artist, to prescribe what artists should do and shouldn't do. The best I can do is to ask everyone, every
Yeah.
citizen, to do what they expect the artist to do. Like, if you want me to be on the streets protesting, get there. If you want me as an artist to stand up for something that is of national interest, do it where you are. So there's no special
Yeah.
character, there's no special profession, there's no one who is specially gifted to be at the forefront. All of us. All of us. The Bible says we are heads and not the tails. So why the hell do you want the artist to be at the forefront when it's fighting, and then when it's sharing money, you don't want them to be at the forefront? So yeah, so my take is that all of us, yes, artists must take charge, but everyone else should. The musicians should, the doctors should, the drivers should. Like every citizen must play a role in creating a society that works for them. If we say it is for artists, then we have a lot of artists becoming politicians, and they will embarrass the artistry. Like we have now, lawyers. So we have lawyers now, lawyers damaging our society because we thought, lawyers can't give us human beings.
Pilato, you are amazing. What would you say about you know?
What in 30 minutes? 2 hours,
1 hour, sorry. Well, as we're about to finish, we only have 5 minutes.
Okay.
What would you say about Prime TV closing down?
So
Yeah.
that's one thing that has really, really disturbed me. I got depressed because, like, I feel, some stupidity must not be allowed to bear fruits.
Yeah.
So, ubwanga bwafula bulamba okufuala lipstick shanshani wambukula moneka attractive, so that everyone now joins in. So the closure of Prime TV for me was a blow on the average human being whose voice was given a platform by Prime TV. So we said this is a democracy, and if in a democracy the only voices that are given attention, the only voices that are given space are those that are singing for the naked king, then it's no longer a democracy. Prime TV was not serving its interests alone. Obviously, they were pursuing their interests, but obviously, the common person, the common Zambian, found Prime TV as a space where they could actually say things and be heard. Prime TV had grown beyond its owners. It was the people's platform. Its closure was not just a manifestation of stupidity by whoever did it, but also it was an attack on our democracy. It was an attack on our society, on our own developmental agenda. And it's sad that it happened during the COVID-19, where we couldn't mobilize people and go and demand that it be reopened. But given an opportunity, any particular day, that's one fight I would be very happy to stand and fight. Like that, even on my own behalf, it's Prime TV was our voice as a people, was the people's voice. No one should take away our voice without a fight. They did it, and because they did it, because they knew there was COVID-19, and all of us were trying to help and protect everyone. But that's one fight I would have loved to fight, and given an opportunity, I would still stand and defend Prime TV. I'm not saying they were perfect. I'm not saying they were right always, but they were the platform for the ordinary Zambian. We can't go to ZNBC. I can't go to ZNBC, but I could still go to Prime TV. There's so many people whose views cannot be aired on ZNBC. So where would they take those views? So I think Prime TV was a manifestation of stupidity at the highest level, and we must have fought it.
Okay, so the final question is on Bowman Lusambo. His actions. Bowman Lusambo, his actions, towards Zambians during COVID, like, he was stopping people from going to the clubs. He would whip them because they're not wearing a mask. What would you say about Bowman Lusambo's behavior towards Zambian citizens?
Busa kafe udia.
Pilato in
Ifuwe
the
kwa kuna
building.
kumwe subara tuita ati ni beans bari. Kira
The
behavior ni
beans.
beans ira. You don't ni beans no bututu sana. Kairi bututu nga bure chitikwa no fwere suit state mwishi bati bututu. Tumwe mwana kwa tilimbinishani. So buda bututu buda busaka. And Zambians must reject such kind of operations. Buda busaka buda bututu.
Ah,
Bututu bwa kwatana bwa balula na maluba.
thank you so much. So, Pilato, what are your final words for the Zambian young people with
So,
regards to the elections next year,
no,
2021?
so my final words, and I'm gonna say this again. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. So the problems that Zambia is facing now regarding the Zambia and China relations, my words to every young person listening to me is that one, it's not the Chinese people that are here that must be fought or must be. No. It's not their problem. Problemu is that one person or that group of people that have allowed abantu ukubefiba. When we say let's hold these leaders accountable, it's not that we don't like them. Of course, they are not likable, but it's not. That's not the reason.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
not the
true.
reason. The reason is that for us, we must love ourselves more so that our interests, we don't have to worry about the other people loving themselves.
Yeah.
If we love ourselves more, if we love our country more, we will not worry about other people not loving us, other people not caring for us. If our government loved us so much, we would not worry what other people from other countries were doing to us or were trying to do to us or were allowing us, because we love being content with the love and the support that we get from our own government. The problem that we have right now is because when Zambians need support, when Zambians need care, it doesn't come. So then we are paying attention to those of our friends from other countries who are receiving more love, more support, and then we're thinking that's at our expense. But that's not the truth. That's not the truth. The truth is we young people deserve more. We young people must demand for this more. And we young people must be ready to go grab this more. China, like any other country, has its own interest. China has its own interest.
Yeah.
Chinese governments, the Chinese government's interest is not to make sure that all Zambians have jobs. Nope. It is not the Chinese government's interest that all of us are success or Zambia is developed. Nope. That is not the interest of the Chinese government. The Chinese government's interest is one, to make sure that there is development in China, the Chinese people are safe, Chinese people are progressing. That's their interest. It is our government's interest. It should be our government's responsibility to make sure that Zambians, one, they have access to capital. If you want to start a government, government must make sure that our young people are supported in that space. It's government's responsibility to make sure that Zambia develops. It's government's responsibility to see that its people are educated. Not to typing and education that we can actually benefit from as a people. So it is supposed to be the government's interest. If you go to a restaurant and you don't find, and somebody tells you that, oh, because you're black, go back. Don't go and beat that person who's telling you. Go and ask yourself, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here? So every young person, my closing remarks is that let's not be racist when fighting racism. Let's not be evil when fighting evil. China's interest is not to educate you. It is not China's interest to feed you. It is not China's interest to give you a job. It is not their interest. They don't even care what you eat. They don't even care where you sleep. They don't care. It is the government's responsibility, your government's responsibility, to make sure that what you are doing, iwe ulina nchito. Iwe na ukwata pakulala. Ngawa ku hospital wala sangomuti. That's not China's responsibility. That's the responsibility of the government. You, my young brother, my young sister, my older brother, but I don't think you. Okay, so you young person, you have a responsibility to make sure that this country works for you. This country favors you. If it can't favor you, somebody's going to take advantage and it will favor them, and you start crying and crying and crying and crying. It can't favor you if you do not make it favor you. Let's make this country favor our dreams. Let this country work for us. We, the young people, like for me, the biggest gift God has given to each and every generation is the gift of being young. When you are young, you can plant a seed today of a mango tree. 2 years later from now, you eat that mango. If you go to an old man, give them a seed of mango, he won't be willing to plant it if he doesn't have grandchildren and kids, because he knows that, by the time chocolate toilet, I'll be dead. So we, the young people, must ask ourselves, 10 years from now, what sort of Zambia do we want to inherit? If we define that Zambia we want to inherit, it is our responsibility now to go out there and start creating it. If you were scared to go to prison for creating a Zambia you want to inherit 10 years from now, forget about it. Who will create a Zambia for you? You want an old person who is dying next year to create a Zambia they want return it. If they can't do that, they are dying. They are dying because they have so much money. They will be dying soon. So the point is, forget about that. What I'm trying to say is, the young person, the young people now must create a society they want to live in tomorrow. Stop looking at other people. No. Start creating the Zambia tomorrow. This policy does not favor Zambians, or this idea that fight it now, because if you don't do it, you will face it tomorrow. If you don't face it, your child will come crying at all. If I want to intercede because you failed to challenge it now, it becomes a reality tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Pilato. May God bless you. And obviously, we'll have you more on this platform. People all over the world want to know more of you. So I'll say bye to you and we'll speak on phone. Guys, we've come to the end of the program. And this is what I talk about on my YouTube channel. For those of you who've never been to my YouTube channel, I'm here to encourage as many Zambians to take a step and speak out on what is happening in Zambia. You've just heard Pilato. You've heard from other people around Zambia speaking. Try and step up and you will not regret. It's a girl, Matams, also known as Gelawapa Z. I'm just a Zambian YouTuber, vlogger. And by the way, we should be hitting 60,000 subscribers. And I use my mobile phone. You too can be talking about the issues of Zambia using your mobile phone. You don't have to limit yourself, but put yourself out there. How did I do it? I believed in myself. This is the phone I use to shoot videos. And you're all watching my videos daily. Because of what? I never relented. So take a step. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I have 2 more important figures from Zambia. I'll let you know. And I'm also waiting for confirmation of 2 political party leaders who will be on my YouTube channel. We are unstoppable. They can shut Prime TV, but they can't shut Little More Times. Take care, guys. Love you. Nangu wanchinga ukufilwa na kanana la tulukusha.